It's a diagnostic inspection for Land Rover L322 V8 diesel, unusual one, not seen any of these, the V8 diesel, normally just a straight 6 I get, so see what's going on. So it wouldn't scan, put the battery on, charge, see, no, still not talking to that. What's going on here? Ignition's on. That's interesting. Doke. Go back out here. Nice, I had to break out the little boy. This is basically confirmed what the big boy said. Lost communication with parking brake control module, but I wasn't getting any. I wasn't getting the engine control module, I wasn't getting the park brake, I wasn't getting the gearbox, all terrain, and a few of them, so I think I'll need to check fuses on it, I think. So no communication with the park brake module on both computers, so we'd need to check fuses, plugs, relays, all that kind of stuff, wiring, all the plugs, wiring, all that kind of jazz, etc. But if you look at the wheels on it, right, the wheels are actually protruding the body, so that should fail an MOT on that. The police would actually stop you and say, like, if you want those wheels protruding, you need to have a guard over it, basically, to be honest with you. Park brake module, very, very expensive, only available for Land Rover, no aftermarket equivalent. So the big V8 boy, oh, it's going to be expensive. Hey guys, so we're doing the health check just now on the Range Rover. Obviously we know the park brake module isn't talking. There's a few other things no talking, engine module, all terrain control module, but you can see it's still on its upper arms. You can see the original brake pipes are still fitted as well, so they're rotten. So the ones in here as well, rotten too. It's quite hard to see in, just to see, but you can see it is all getting a bit rusty in there. So that is one of the park brake cables there as well. I'm not sure if somebody's had it out. It doesn't look like it's right in. Yeah, maybe somebody's had that out at some point then. So there was a ball joint away. Quite hard to show you while filming, but this lower ball joint here, quite hard to do it with one hand, but you can see that ball joint there. Two of them actually jump up and down. So those ball joints are knackered. Same with that brake pipe. Sort of rotten. You see it's been covered in some shoots. This bush is split there. So that the both arms need done on the bottom lower. Now the subframe, I've not poked at that, that's how that is. So I don't want to poke about it too much, but well, it's rotten anyway, regardless, right? So that's rotted there. It's leaking oil for the top somewhere and running down, and it looks like the sump on the gearbox is leaking as well, so yeah, that would want done. I've not found any play in the pins, bushes or ball joints on this side. The front diff there is either been topped up and no cleaned, or it is leaking, no sure. Yeah, so it is getting a bit old, the car, 2007, so I'll put the ramp up a bit. Right, so I'll put the ramp up a tad. Airbags have been done, they look quite clean. So you can see that brake pipe, which looks like it's part of the Flexi. It's the problem available for Land Rover. You see all the crustacean on it, it's been body shoots, but it is starting to get a wee bit rusty. There is a wee bit on that arch there as well. Other than that, for one of these at this age, it's relatively good, to be honest with you. But the things it's most probably going to need, like, is all the bushes and the brake pipes and stuff done. We can see how rusty the subframe is up there, and we can see the rust in the back wheel arches. So sills are not too bad, but yeah. So I think front airbags have been done by the looks of it. So yeah, we really need to get a further look at the park brake module. So I think what the customer was told was you need the body off this one to do the park brake module. This one is not like the L320s, this one it's all body. So the body is the chassis, so it's a monocoque chassis on this one, so there's no lifting of the body on this model. So we need to get a look at the park brake module and see why it's not communicating. There's maybe a common thing on it that's not allowing communication between the engine, park brake, gearbox module, all that kind of stuff, but we'll get to the bottom of it. Right, so you can see that shock absorber there. It's a little bit wet. If you look at all the bushes, there's maybe not any excessive play in them, but they're really perished and poor condition, especially that one up there, this little link one. And the amount of the L320s and Discovery 3s, 4s, where I've done the upper arms, I've done the rose bushes, these all look original, so these are probably all going to want done. You can see all the bushes are pretty poor condition. I mean, look at the diff bush. Oh God, man, that's got to be knackered, surely. Same with that one up there, it's in poor condition, so I'll speak to the gentleman, I think, see what he wants to do with this car. And when I say what he wants to do, how much money he wants to spend on it, because it's going to be a lot of money. There's no way we can take that apart and say, right, it's 100% going to be this much. That's not going to be the case now. You know, if it was a 3 to 5 year old car, we could say probably not a bother, we'll get all those bolts out of there. I know for a fact every single nut and bolt on that suspension will need to be cut on it, and then we'll need to replace all the bushes and suspension arms and all that. So although it's just a park brake fault, but saying all that, we know we're not talking to it. If we can figure out why it's not talking, then maybe no need to touch any of that. Now, even getting into the plug in the park brake module, but it's an absolute nightmare. Nightmare's been Ray Travels, honestly, you can hardly see it, so I'll show you. So, there's that. That's the plug for it up there. Right, so you couldn't even get in just to unplug it and plug it back in again. You see all the rust where it's been shooted over the top of the rust, so not a good idea, to be honest with you. It should have been done when it was brand new. Anyway, we'll need to leave this one here. There'll be further diagnostic if a gentleman wants it. We'll need to basically go through everything to see why it's not communicating with the stuff it should be. But I think it's got a lot more lift than the L320. I'm going to need a step to get in. So we've got a big Range Rover Sport. I'm just lifting it on the lift again, so I've on the jacking point right there, and just I started lifting it. A load of rust just started coming out, and you can just see it was like a powder. So that there, I think, is disintegrating, so I'm not going to lift it anymore. To be honest with you, I'm not going to put it up, I'm going to put it back down and just try and evaluate that. It's really hard to see the condition of the sills now. I know the brake pipes are rotten on it all round, so the car was only advised its last MOT on a ball joint on the track or the end, I think. So they've not advised any of the corrosion on the car. That I can't really fault them on that, to be honest with you. It's quite hard to see. That I think it started a hole there. Yeah, you can just see it. There's a hole, try and get the torch. So I think what's happened is the jacking point's been shoved in. Hard to see, but yeah, a wee hole in the sill now. So I think I'll definitely have a chat with the customer about what he wants to do. You can see all these flexes, which that's a flexi, and then that's a metal pipe, but it's part of that flexi there. So the park brake looks to me like somebody's been in it recently, because they're not right in where they should be, unless somebody's done it years ago and just never put them back in there. So the fault we've got with the park brake, we don't know yet, because it's not talking to the park brakes. There's no communication there, so either the module's dead altogether, we checked all the fuses, or there's bad wiring. But you know, it's a lot of stripping down, you know, to get in and find it. Then, you know, there's a bad wire or something. So we'll need to check and see what we can do, but I'm concerned about this now. So I very gingerly creeped underneath it, and I managed to get the module unplugged. It's not easy. If you've seen where it is, it's up behind the subframe, jammed in between the body and the subframe, kind of. So I couldn't actually get the plug right off, but I could get the tab up, and if you rock the locking bit on it, it slides it back and forward. So maybe tell us if there's a bad connection there or something, if we can get communication with it again. So, but if you look on the sill there, well, if you look on where it's been jacked, right, you can see there's bits of the body that's fallen off it, so it's rotten. And I did expect it at this edge, to be honest with you. So Oh, the wee looking at that's at the road. Let's see. Aye, so look, it's just rotting away. So this has obviously shoved this up, and it's bust all of that there. And you've seen me where I've been on, so there's nothing I can do. And my worry would be is that this just comes straight out of there. So, right, no good. You can see that there, so the sill's rotten, the sill's got a hole in it. But yeah, no advices on its MOT for corrosion. Only slight play in the tractor end ball joint, and the ball joint's hanging on it. The two lower ball joints are absolutely hanging off. So, you can see this bit as well. It's not quite as bad, but it's rotten. And you can see it there, it's like an onion. So, that was a big bit. So, you can see it's becoming an onion, the Land Rover. So, I think if we can't get communication with the part brake module, then we'd need to take the whole subframe off it basically, and it could be a bit of a world of pain, that. So we cleared the codes, and this is the ones that's left in here. So I think it's because it's had facelift on it, and so you can, those are the right lamps for this car. Somebody's put newer style lights into it, so that's why we've got all these codes. And you open up the fuse box, which I have to check part brake fuses, you can see there's loads of additional wiring in there. So it did take the part brake module one out of the part brake system, part brake module, so, but it didn't take it out of the engine. So I'll try and hit a raise again and see. No, it doesn't like it, so right, so I'll see what it does in the car now. Probably not do anything. I have only just wiggled the plug back and forward. Aye, so part brake off, part brake fault system unavailable. Aye, so not good. So we would really need the subframe off it then to do any checks on that, because we can't even get the thing unplugged. Not to be check the plug at that end. We can get it unplugged, but I couldn't get it to come away from the module. I could get it to slide back and forward on its slider, which then locks the plug, but it just wouldn't come out, so I'd need the subframe off it. And, it's very expensive as well, the part brake module. Let's see, parking brake. So we're just not communicating now. So I'll speak to the customer now. I've moved the leg into the chassis leg on this now, away from the jacking point, so you can see rust, right? So, and there's, you know, I started seeing all this powder coming out it yesterday, and I thought, well, no good. And I double checked, we were on the jacking point, so there's the jacking point there, and there's the hole there. So I believe that's started moving up the way. So yeah, I mean, we need to take all the sill covers off it and see, but I'm definitely going to want welding, and it's quite crusty up in that inner tub. Yeah, so right, it's always where the bungs are. So those bungs are put in them, and then the bodies are dipped, and the bung holes are there to let all the, you know, the fluid, you know, the zinc coat and all that kind of stuff run out, and then they put the bungs in, so when they do rot cars later on. Right, so I've got a bit more description for the customer regarding the part brake now. I went back in and checked my data as well for fuses and stuff. So anyway, spoke to the customer, so he's no longer bought the car. Basically the part brake's never worked, I think, so it wasn't squealing, just either stopped working or wasn't working. So car's been to a Land Rover. I am not a Land Rover dealer, right? I'm a Mitsubishi master technician. Now if this was a Mitsubishi, it'd still be working. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, doke. Blank. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Blank. ABS. Right, so if we go in here, put the light on, bottom row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be blank, should be ABS. So I wonder if somebody just put the fuse in the wrong place. So I've got a new 5 ampere here. Shove it in, see what happens, I think. Don't seem to have any power on that. There's maybe no needing power at the minute. And then we'll see what the machine says. I'm not going to pull the part back, to be honest with you. I don't want it jammed on. I really do not. So, but we will see what the autel says now. So I managed to, I put it back up, I've moved the leg right in onto the chassis, away from that bit of the sill, because the bit of the sill is not very good anymore. Just age, to be honest, man. It's just age in the UK. This is what happens to them in the UK. They rust. Unfortunately, same as everything. No matter where it's been, unless it's been garaged, it'll rust. So, obviously I did unplug the module just to see completely, so I managed to get it back up in there and I managed to unplug it just to see what it did, and it just said the exact same, no talking to that module. So it's not actually telling us what's wrong with it, it's just, it's not speaking to it. So I wonder where that fuse been at. Right, so trouble codes. Right, well, we'll have lost communication. So we'll save all these now. Save all the data. Go back actually. Right, come back out of here. I'm going to do the full shooting match again. Pause just now. Right, so scan away there now. So part brake module 10 faults, right. So we had 57, I think we had 40 something when we had first initially scanned this vehicle, then we had 57 the second time. We didn't clear any faults on it. The only thing we had done was taking the fuse box cover off under the driver's front, under the bonnet, and the one in the driver's rear in the boot. Yeah, I just studied, there's lots of fuses on this. Look at the amount of modules we've got, man. Right, so lots of fuses, lots of bits in them. So I had just basically missed, well, we've all seen it there. We're now talking to the part brake module, so that's a massive, massive bonus for me, like, eh? And Gemfo before did say, you know, they've never did one of these, and they haven't done one. So I was a bit dubious about taking all this apart, putting a part brake module on it. I'd find it still no talking because there's no bloody fuse in it. Anyway, let's see what it says. Right, so saved all that report. So basically we can see it: warning lamp, signal lamp connection fault, invalid data from the transmission control module, lost communication with transfer case, invalid data from ECM PCM, lost communication with ECM PCM, invalid data from the dynamic control, vehicle dynamic control, instrument cluster control, ignition switch. So it's basically all lost communication because there's no fuse there. So I'll raise them all out, see what happens. Right. No codes in the part brake module, so righty ho, let's see what happens. Right, so we've started the big Land Rover part brake. Good news, it's got new shoes on it. I think what's happened is something's went wrong with it and somebody's pulled the emergency release because you can hear the cables moving in there. So I wonder if it's just disconnected then altogether, and once you pull the emergency release on them, that's it, game over. You need to rebuild the module or replace it, so that's probably what's happened to it. Right, time to get all of this out the road. Same on this side as well. The part brake lever's free, slightly different to the L320. The L320 has an actual, that's on this side actually, but there's a part brake lever, and what happens is the C's at the pivot point and it causes the gear to go. This is a slightly different setup. I think this is probably a better setup, to be honest with you. And that goes in there like that, moves it a little bit, opens the shoes. So I think that's a better idea than the newer setup. So, and the shoes are all good, been done, but like that. So saying that one looks like it's been running on. I'll need to assess them because, oh no, it's just paint. See it, it's paint. So how have I painted them? So there's the powder there, and that's just paint, so it's all good. So right up in there, it looks to me like emergency release has pulled out of the hole. Hard to see if you can just see in there, guys. So you can see the rusty mark and the cable, if I can get my hands onto it. Here it looks like, yeah, it's been pulled right out of the hole, so it's been yanked that hard that it's been pulled right out. So that's what happens with them if you pull the emergency release on it. It's really hard to see, but I can see it. See the white bit and the cable coming out? Right, so that's been pulled right out of there. So that's why we're no activating anything. There's actually blue paint in there as well, which is interesting. And the night heater is blanked off and has been for some time by the looks of it. So that's no good. So right, all the rest of this junk to come off now. So happy days. Right, so we've not filmed much of this, guys, because there's been a lot in and out today. I've started this one yesterday, and we've got it done just about. I need to bolt the wheels back on, and then I'll need to lower it back down, getting the left the shocks attached to the body to save stripping all the boot down. I've only got the wee trunk off just because we need the emergency release. So you can see they're turning now. I've not put any adjustment on there now, and I'm not going to at the minute. So I'm going to run the car first before we adjust these. So anyway, I've got the shock bolts to locate properly, and I need to take this off completely. You know, I just pulled the screws out it and knocked it out from inside and pulled it down. There's one little clip you can get to. I'll need to take it off to get it fitted properly, but that was just for removal. I'm going to take that as well. Now, that is what's happened to that one. So this has been pulled. It's been pulled that hard. It's been pulled right out of there. So you could see the cables when it was on the car. They're not connected in there anymore. So you hear that? So you shouldn't be able to move them. So you can see we had to do the tubes to smash them. That one came out intact. That's the same on this side. So you just know that that's been pulled in there. So really sketchy that, by the way. I think it's not helped because of how I've got it lifted as well, because I'm away for the lifting pad and on the chassis, but I just no option because of the bit of corrosion next to the lifting pad. I just don't want to take any chances there. So obviously I'm going to pause a minute. So I did the suspension arm. This was advised that it's MOT, right, and I'll get to that in a minute. It looks like it'd been done not too long ago compared to everything else, but this we've changed, and we changed that ball joint. The Starline one, you would have had to put some amount of force to get that in there. It shouldn't be, it should just a wee love chapping and it should go. The other one would have had to hang with, but there's play in that ball joint there. It's hard to shake the wheel, but there is play in that, so I think it was advised that it's MOT for having play in that. But I've been out of a minute and I could hear a knocking still, and I thought, oh, I've still not tightened something up, so there is a bit of play in that. It is worse. These are big hard wheels to shake, especially with one man. So so I've did that and did that. It needs this. I've ordered it, and we'll see about getting that changed. It's a BMW one, to be honest with you. It's a BMW style. Right, so we got the big Range Rover running again. Shut my drawer here. Got a fault code, but it's not one I've seen before on the park brake. The only one, well, to start with, we couldn't talk to it at all. So it says we've got a permanent fault with a longitudinal acceleration sensor, which, going back and reading in that bulletin there, it looks like it's underneath the, so there you go, it looks like it's underneath the centre console. So the parking brakes apparently needs to see that longitudinal acceleration sensor input. So neutral, lamp off, parking brake control module, fault lamp status 1. So I don't know how to try and pull it on or no, the handbrake. I've not adjusted the brakes at all yet. there's a lot of codes in it. I'll try and erase it again and just see, but it said it was a permanent fault. Wasn't there before the fault. I need to go back and have a look, but I'm sure what we had before was just no communication. So to start with, we wouldn't even talk to the module. We would just get, if we went back, so if we went back to here, we would just get, let's say it's not scanned now, we would just get no communication here, whereas we're getting faults. We're talking to it now. So I'll come out of here and I'll go and have a wee look and see what the fault was on it. Right, so I will go back out now and look. I've already saved all of this, so we'll go and have a wee look and see. Well, reports. (2007) view of the report. So we actually had 10 faults in it. Let's see what they were. Right, so these are all just lost communication, invalid data, lost communication. So it wasn't talking to anything. So, but I don't see that one. Go back and look at the other report, but I don't see that one that we've got now. Right, so this is the very first one, and it's not put it into the report because it's no talk to the module at all. So power control, transmission, restraints, instrument panel, transfer case, all terrain, ride level, steering angle, vehicle dynamic, audio control module, remote driver utility module, vehicle immobiliser, body processor, driver's seat, auxiliary heater, light check module, park assist, rain assist and steering column. So you can see there, and engine lost communication with park brake module permanent. So I'll come back out here, and that's the other one. Once we put the fuse in, park brake module, there it's there in the list, parking brake module. So that was when we were then talking to it, but I don't see that code. Do not see that code in there, so I'll maybe try and calibrate that. Warning lamp, invalid data for transmission, transfer case, ECM, PCM, ECM, PCM, vehicle dynamic, ignition switch, instrument cluster, control module. So yeah, that code wasn't there. Right, so there's a bit here, see if we can do that. So it says we actually need to put the park brake on. Right, so clear the fault codes next. It says it calibrated it, so hopefully, fingers crossed. Initializing. Oh, it says success. Let's see. Yeah! You know, actually, I think maybe you actually need to do that with all of them, to be honest with you. I think I may have done that in the past. It's been a while if I've done a park brake module in one, so, you know, maybe try and forget about them, to be honest with you, they're apps. Right guys, so I do still have the emergency release, which we now know has been pulled on that other one. So the new cables are in the module is up there. It's new, so back together you can't see it right, but this, because of where I've got this lifted, it's very sketchy, man. I really wish that ramp was available, to be honest with you, because I think I would have been able to strap it onto that lift, and it's just, I think I would have been able to get it positioned a bit better on that lift, to be honest with you. Doing it on this one, to be honest with you, I think maybe a 4-poster because it's so heavy a car, and you know, you're trying to no damage anything as well, so sketchy, man. The hardest bit was getting the shocks back into the body, to be honest with you, and getting the bolts out the old, there's only 2 bolts that hold the module, and getting them out here, man, nightmare man, but we managed to get them, so they're just rotten, so so you can tell what's happened to it. That's what's happened. They've pulled that cable up there, right, and that's it, end of story. Once you pull the cable, actually there's no fixing it, so we've got the washer not to put back on there, actually. Need to make sure all these pipes are okay. I see they got So we'll need to make sure the way that's okay and out of the road, nothing's going to get damaged. So that's obviously broken off the body somewhere. So same again, we'll just need to go in and make sure the wiring isn't going to foul on anything. And it looks like that brake pipe actually, yeah, it looks like when we're taking that off it's broke the plastic clip, so nothing we can do about that, it's just all plastic brittle. So I'd be a bit of a mission I think to change these arms on it as well now. Just because of how long they've been on there. Plastic well, but I mean they get a bad reputation, Land Rovers, but this is 161,000 miles, and I'd like to think the rose bushes have been done in the back, but the arms are certainly original. So 161,000 miles, not too bad, you know, so not too bad for Land Rover. So obviously, anyway, we'll jibber on a bit. So handbrake is on, right? It should drop back forward a wee bit, right? But it is on, right? It's definitely on, so hopefully now I've not put any adjustment in here either. None. Put all the hubs back on, everything back on, pads, discs, everything. And you just seen me calibrated that sensor there with great success. So, right, hopefully now, just press the brake. I heard it going, so that's good. No more flashy lights, no more yellow light. Off, sorry, on. Off. So now we're going to check and see. I'll pause here, I'll climb out of this thing. Right, so let's see. Oh, you beauty. Right, I mean, I kind of thought that because I've not put any adjustment on it yet. And I will. Oh no, it's a bit tight. Right, our nice shoes can on there. That's a wee bit tight, so I'll give that drum a wee chapometer and see. Hold on. That's turning, but that's a bit tight. Oh, definitely a bit tight, that one. I'm going to strip that back off and just see what's going on. And check the double head. I think that caliper was tight, to be honest with you, so it's maybe that caliper seized up. So hopefully we shouldn't see it. Right, so it's not anything to do with the handbrake, it's the caliper. So the caliper's sticking on that side, so I thought that when I took it apart, I thought that's awfully tight. But, yeah. So I'll need to, I've obviously had to use that to put it back, so I'm going to strip the caliper down there. Right, so I can't get the piston to move. I've stripped and cleaned the slides, so I need to get a caliper for it. I'm probably just now advised just doing these two flexes. Well, we advised that anyway, but we haven't had to separate them, so they're still on, but I mean, probably better just changing them now. But there you go, we know the park brake's working. Right, so this here is a Land Rover park brake module, otherwise known as a world of pain. Don't do it. Anybody asks you to fit it, just say no.